Previously on 9 Hours, 9 Persons, 9 Doors. Immediately following Zero's instructions, they explored as much of the ship in hopes of finding an alternative exit. What they discovered was that the ship was split into decks, and that they were confined into decks A to C, because D was flooded with water. They also found a few doors that had symbols corresponding with the solar system. The group, eventually, after finding out there was no alternative exit, started a discussion. Junpei brings up that they should tell each other their names. The mountain cuts him off and said that he should come up with code names instead, as Zero could be listening in and kidnap their loved ones or something. The group agrees and begun naming themselves. 1 was Ace. 2 was Snake. 3 was Santa. 4 was Clover. 5 was Junpei. He did not receive a name since Akane accidentally said his real one out loud. 6, Akane, is June. 7 was 7. And 8 was Lotus. The 9th man, however, took Clover hostage and attempted to exit through door 5 using Clover's, Ace's, and his numbers. He went through the door alone, but he began to shout that it was a trap and to help him. But it was too late. Hello folks, and welcome back to Take Plays 999. I've been super busy. As you all know, school has started back up again. So I've been getting used to my new sleep schedule, which, means early sleep schedule. Now, because of that, of course, I can't record late at night like I normally do, because that'd be stupid. Then I would have to record, edit, and just doesn't work right. So instead, I've started recording in the day, but, sounds from my home and outside might come in every now and then, but I'm sure you're all okay with that. Now, alongside the playthrough of 999, I will also be posting a playthrough of this game that I found called White Day, which is some Korean horror game. Yeah, I heard it's pretty good though. Anyway, on with the show. The dots. The explosion rocked the room. Instinctively, they ducked, then stood up slowly when they realized there was no danger. No one spoke. Silence filled the room. In that silence, the electronic tone that echoed across the room sounded as loud as a gunshot. All eyes turned towards it. It had come from the device mounted next to the door. The display changed from engaged to vacant. Let's see if we can open it. 7, the mountain, swallowed hard. Junpei nodded and placed his hand on the scanner panel. A red asterisk appeared on the LCD panel. The device had registered Junpei's bracelet number 5. It was not enough, however. At least 2 more people were needed. Junpei asked. Which pair? Now this is gonna be an interesting one. I really don't want that one. That sounds like a good one. Just cause... Yeah, let's take this one. Santa and, June, you think you can give me a hand here? The pun was a little too on the nose, but the mood was still grim. Both Santa and June lifted their left hands silently. He vertified, and she followed suit. 5 plus 3 plus 6 equal 14. 1 plus 4 equals 5. They'd fulfill the conditions. If they were to pull the lever on the side. Are you guys ready? I'm gonna open it. Junpei grabbed the lever and looked back over his shoulder. They stiffened and nodded. Junpei nodded back and set his mouth in a grim line. Then he slowly lowered the lever. There was a metallic groan and the door slid open. A breath of air drifted out of it, carrying a stench that nearly made them gag. Junpei grimaced and put a hand over his mouth. Oh my god. Good god. Lotus and Ace shuddered. Seven grunted. Oh, that's pretty bad. Even Santa's voice shook. He blew up. It appeared that Santa was right. The hallway on the other side of the door was splattered with chunks of torn flesh and dark red blood. A shriek echoed across the room. It had come from June. Then her strength left her and she dropped. As Junpei turned to catch her, the door groaned shut. She crumpled to the floor. June, you okay? Junpei dropped to his knees and put his arm around her shoulders. That was when he noticed. Her whole body was feverish. She was radiating intense heat. What the hell? Where'd this fever come from? June didn't answer. Her face looked like wax, and her whole body began to shake. Alright, let's just rest for a minute, okay? You think you can walk? She nodded weakly. Junpei lifted June to her feet and guided her to a nearby chair. Here we go. As gently as he could, he set her down. How are you feeling? Are you alright? She nodded, and as she did, a single huge tear rolled down the side of her face. Why? Why did this have to happen? Her voice cracked, broken by misery and grief, and choked by sobs. Why did this happen? Junpei spun around. Oh god, words. Do any of you know what the fuck is going on here? Who's Zero? What's this no-nary game? Come on, anybody? Anything? What the hell is going on? What are we doing here? No one spoke. Ace, Snake, Santa, Clover, Seven, Lotus. They simply stood there. 7 pairs of downcast eyes and 7 grim lines for mouths. June's body shook with silent sobs. They slowed as the minutes ticked by, and eventually they stopped. And suddenly, in the cold, heavy silence that enveloped them like a thick fog, a bell began to ring. The clock in the central hall. 7, 8, 9, 10 times. And then, on the 10th ring, it stopped. The sound of the bell faded away into silence. It's 10 o'clock then. Ace said what each one of them had been thinking. That means it's been an hour since Zero's little announcement. Seven's deep voice echoed across the room. Fuck! I've had enough of this crap. Santa leapt to his feet, his fists clenched. How long are we gonna pussyfoot around like this? We've only got 8 hours until this time limit Zero's going on about is up. Let's get going already! Go! Go! Santa's outburst fell on deaf ears. No one seemed to agree with him. They stared back at him, their eyes blank and their faces tired. Finally, Lotus spoke. No, I refuse. I'm not going to end up like him. Him? You mean the 9th man? Of course. Who else? In his mind's eye, Junpei saw the corpse again. The dark, reddish-black pool of blood. Scattered pieces of flesh. Organs strewn across the floor like the blossoming of a grotesque flower. The explosion that had torn through this body had been so powerful. The 9th man's neck had been twisted at an odd angle. Junpei suspected the detonation had thrown him against the wall. Half of his face was crushed, and the other half was covered in blood. Most of his abdomen had been emptied, either by the explosion or by gravity. He had landed on his back, and stark white ribs jutted up out of his chest like the legs of some sort of microbe crab. I don't know how to pronounce that word. Junpei felt something flip in his stomach. I think he just screwed up. Eyebrows went up and Santa continued. He probably set off some sort of trap and that killed him. I'm not gonna screw up like that. I'm getting out of here alive. Whatever Snake was laughing at, Santa did not find it particularly humorous. What's so goddamn funny? My apologies. You were just so very confident. I couldn't help myself. What the fuck? I think you've mistaken the situation. Huh? 9th man's death. It had nothing to do with a trap. Or at least not the sort of trap you imagined it did. Then he broke one of Zero's rules. That was why he died. Quite simple if you think about it. You still don't? Alright. How about you take a moment and think back to what Zero said? Specifically, what did he say about the number of people? He said only 3 to 5 people can pass through one numbered door, right? And after that, you've forgotten the relevant part. What did Zero say? Santa furrowed his brow in thought. Junpei thought back. Zero said... Oh, right. That everyone who vertified had to go. All those who enter must leave, and all who enter must contribute. Right? I think it was something like that. Whatever it was, it means that groups of less than 3 or more than 5 can't go through. That is correct. A gold star for you, Junpei. Snake inclined his head towards Junpei. The 9th man, however, broke that rule. He tried to pass through a numbered door by himself. That was why he was executed. Then Zero's watching us from somewhere, making sure we don't break any rules. Oh, I'm not so sure of that. Why not? Because this execution system is entirely automatic. You didn't notice? There's no need for him to monitor us. What do you mean? Snake looked at Seven with what could only be described as pity inside. Very well. I see it must be me who tells you. I've waited long enough, I suppose. I had hoped Zero might spare me the trouble, but that seems increasingly unlikely. He couldn't see them, of course, but perhaps Snake sensed the confused eyes upon him. When A spoke, he gave words to everyone else's thoughts. Do you know something? Well, I know a great many things, but yes. What is it you know? Here. Snake removed the card from the pocket of his jacket. With a flourish, he presented it to Ace, who took a close look at it and spoke. Calm now. What's the point of giving me this? Give me that. Santa snatched the card from Ace, but his expression of disgust quickly turned to one of confusion. Huh? The hell is this? Seven tugged it out of Santa's hands. Huh, I see. The card went from Seven to Lotus. From Lotus to June. Ah, shit, there's some kids outside talking or some shit. This is why I record at late at night. Anyway, and finally to Junpei. He looked at it and understood. This is Braille. Braille, the written language of the blind. The card was covered with small embossed bumps. Junpei could recognize it, but he certainly couldn't read it. Sorry guys, I can't read this. Junpei handed the card back to Snake, who nodded at him with a small smirk. Okay, that was fun. What's so important about that card? I found it in my pocket. I can only assume it's a message from Zero. From Zero? A message? What does it say? Suddenly everyone was crowding around Snake, desperate to hear what the message said. Santa especially looked as if he were about to grab a hold of Snake and shake the answers from him. Snake raised his hand. Calm down now. No need to panic. You don't need to force me. I'll read it. Junpei swallowed hard and waited for him to start. He was not the only one. Presently, Snake began to read, his voice calm. His fingers glided over the tiny bumps as he spoke. Bracelet number 2. Since you are not blessed with sight, I shall bless you, and only you, with information. I shall tell you of the function of the red, of the dead, and of the bracelet. The red is the recognition device. It will verify your number. Besides every number door, you will find a red. The dead is the deactivation device. It does exactly what it says. Once you have passed through the number door, you must use the dead to stop the detonator in your bracelet. But perhaps you're wondering, what does this detonator detonate? I'm afraid this may be something of a surprise. I have placed a small bomb inside of you, and the people whom you are about to meet. You swallowed it while you were unconscious. I was about to say subconscious for some reason. I have no doubt that by the time you read this note, the bomb will have passed through your stomach and found its way to your small intestine. I've seen this only 11 other times. In other words, you will be unable to regurgitate it. I suggest you do not try. As I mentioned before, the bracelet on your left hand contains a detonator. Think of it as a remote fuse or timer for the bomb in your body. There is only one condition which will cause it to detonate. That condition is that you entered a numbered door. Once you have done so, the timer will activate no matter who you may be. You will have 81 seconds. If after that time the detonator has not been deactivated, it will send a signal to the bomb in your body instructing it to explode. In order to deactivate the detonator, every person who verified their number at the red must also verify their numbers at the dead. Once all numbers have been verified by the dead, you need only pull the lever at its side and the countdown will cease. Anyone who does not verify their number at the red will find themselves unable to verify their number at the dead. That is to say, if you should pass through a number door without first verifying your number at the red, in 81 seconds, you will be dead. You must also keep in mind that the number doors will close automatically after 9 seconds have passed. So long as this door is open, the dead will not function. You will do well to remember that. Lastly, let us discuss how to remove the bracelets. There are only 2 ways to do so. 1. You escape from the ship. 2. Your heart rate reaches 0. In other words, once the bracelet is taken outside the confines of the ship, or detects that its wearer's heartbeat has fallen to 0, it will shut down automatically. There is no other way to remove your bracelet. If you attempt to force it off or disable the detonator, the bomb within you will immediately explode. This is all the information which I can impart to you. How you choose to use it is for you to decide. If used wisely, you can eliminate those who might be a danger to you. For a time, you would be able to control your fate. I wish you the best of luck. Snake finished reading and carefully returned the card to his pocket. The message had been lengthy, but its meaning was clear. Only those who verify the numbers at the red could pass through the numbered doors. Teams could not increase or decrease their numbers. The Reds, Deads, and Bracelets enforced the rules. They were judge, jury, and executioner. In defiance of Zero's suggestions, both Santa and Seven put fingers down their throats and began to gag. The rest stiffened, some touched their stomachs, some simply stared at their bracelets. Junpei gingerly touched his stomach. There was a bomb inside his body. The thought of it made him queasy. His stomach felt oddly hollow and his legs weak. Why had Zero designed such a ludicrous game? Junpei looked over at the others. Alright, I'm gonna ask one more time. Do any of you know anything about Zero? They were all silent, each person waiting to hear what the others would say. Finally, Santa spoke. Actually, I saw him. I saw Zero when I got grabbed. I didn't see his face though. Son of a bitch was wearing some kind of gas mask. What the hell? Come on guys, give me something. You know, like surprise or something. Instead it was Santa who looked surprised. There was a moment of silence, and then everyone spoke at once. Yeah, I saw him too. Me too. He was wearing a gas mask. As stories were sorted out, the truth became clear. All their stories were the same. They had been abducted at home at midnight. The person claiming to be Zero had worn a mask. There had been white smoke, and then each person passed out. When they awoke, they found themselves on D deck in a room with a 3-level bunk bed. Only Seven's story seemed to lack the detail of the others.
Oh, me? Yeah, well, mine was just like the rest of yours.
That was all he had to say. It had occurred to Junpei at the time that it sounded somewhat strange, but he didn't press the issue. He hadn't done so because there was something that struck him as even stranger. That was the mystery of the relationship between Snake and Clover. For some reason, they had been abducted from the same room and woken up in the same room. Junpei looked at them thoughtfully. So what's the deal with you two anyway? It was Clover that answered. Clearly, she felt she had nothing to hide. We're siblings. Oh, God, I don't think I can record at this time. There's just so much noise. You know what? I'm sorry, guys. I'm gonna end the episode here, but I promise I'll be uploading 2 videos by the time this thing comes up. So this video, plus the White Date video, alright? Sorry it's really short, but I really do need to record late at night where there's no noise. Alright, I'll see you guys next time.